Welcome to Lesson 1 of Math. Lesson number 1 deals with whole numbers with decimal points, adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing. Please put in your notes the same things that I show you at the board. Many tests put the problem sideways, like this. So you have to set it up yourself. And people who don't know how to do it would put the 2.8 here and be lost and get it wrong. So the best way is to place the decimal point first, like that, and then put in the digits. Nothing from 9 is 9. 8 from 3, we cannot take. Now, maybe all your life you've been doing it the lazy way and saying, well, then I'll take 3 from 8. You can't do that. We have to take a 1 out of here, leaving it a 3, and we put that 1 right here, making it 13. Now we have 8 from 13, which is 5. And in addition and subtraction, the decimal point always comes straight down. 2 from 3 is 1. Nothing from 7 is 7. Okay? Now, how do you check subtraction? You might have one of those little checkbooks the bank furnishes, and you know there's no room to rewrite it. You don't need to. If you check this way, add upward to check subtraction. 9 plus nothing's 9. 5 plus 8 is that 13, carry 1. 1 and 1 is 2, plus that 2 is that original 4. 7 and nothing, 7. You know absolutely you got it right. You don't have to bounce a check. You never want to do that. The bank might want you to do that for the penalty fee, but you can avoid it just by adding upward after you subtract. Here's an example of addition. We want to put in the decimal point first again. Going to add, then we put in the digits. Nothing plus 3 is 3. 9 plus 2 is 11, carry 1. 3 plus 5 is 8, plus 1 is 9. Nothing plus 3 is 3. And we put in the decimal point. So here we just think it through again for checking. 3, 11, looks right. When you make mistakes, that's fine. That's how we learn math. If these are easy for you, that's wonderful. If they're difficult for you, write down in your notes that place the decimal point first. And keep the decimal point in a straight line. That's for addition and subtraction only. And if you are working at home, you can make up problems. Since you don't have the answers, you can check it with a calculator at home. Math is entirely different from any other subject. You can learn things by listening in the way of social studies, science. But if you really want to learn math, you're going to have to be your own teacher. Math is the subject that is self-taught, low level and high level. You have to sit down, think it through, and practice. Let's go to multiplication now. And we're not going to line up the decimal points. This one, it happens coincidentally, 0.9 times 0.8. 9 times 8 is 72. And you don't bring the decimal point straight down. You count like this. 1, 2. You count how many digits are to the right of the decimal point, top and bottom in the problem. 1, 2. You start over here at the right side of the answer and count to the left. 1, 2, boom. That's where the decimal point goes. You need to learn the times tables, the multiplication tables. Until you know them just like that, you are a low-level math student. And the National Council of Teachers of Mathematics has reviewed this, has studied this, and they say if you're taking a test that's word problems, and you have to be counting on your fingers, or writing down numbers, or using some silly little game, instead of knowing the times tables like that, it distracts you from the word problem. You cannot focus, you cannot concentrate on the story problem, you cannot picture that in your mind, and it takes too long and you're probably going to get it wrong. So that's one benefit of memorizing the times tables. Another benefit of memorizing the times tables is that makes division doable. Because if you don't know that 3 times 9 is 27, then you look at a problem and it says 3 into 27, but you don't know the times tables, you're helpless. But if you do know them, you know 3 into 27 is 9, just like that. So that's what makes division so hard, is that people don't know the times tables. Learn them, and then once you learn them, keep using them, or you'll forget them. And don't make your own flashcards. Some people make them wrong. I don't know how you would ever unlearn the wrong facts and then learn them the right way. So you can buy a set of flashcards, multiplication flashcards at a dollar store for $1. And you don't need, you probably know, remember that 0 times anything is 0. And anything times 0 is 0, because it's like saying no groups of 9 equals nothing. 9 times nothing still equals nothing. So you know the zeros, you know the ones because it's the same digit. You probably know the 2s. There are probably just 9 combinations you need to learn, 1 through 9, 2 through 9, just 2 through 9. You don't need to memorize the 11s. That's a 1 and a 1. If you know the 1s, that's good. You don't need to memorize the 12s. That's a 1 and a 2. So just up to 9 is all you need to memorize. And you will notice a great difference in your work, especially in division, when you get really good at it. Let's take a look at this one now. 7 times 4 would be 28, carry 2. 7 times 3 is 21. Plus 2 is 23. And when you check division, you just look at it and go through it again. Looks all right, 23, except I didn't count. 1, 2, start over here and go to the left. 1, 2, boom. That's where the decimal point goes. I have always made a lot of mistakes while I'm talking. But if I don't talk, you don't know what I'm doing. So I'd rather make mistakes and then fix them than be silent and do it right. Okay. Here we have about as hard of a problem in multiplication as you're going to run into. 3 numbers up, 2 numbers down. 5 times 3, 15, carry 1. 25 and 1 is 26, carry 2. 5 times 4 is 20, plus 2 is 22. Now I'm going to look through and see if I might have gotten it right. Looks okay. 8 times 3 is 24, but we do not put the 4 here. We scoot over one place. And I'm going to carry the 2. 8 times 5 is 40, plus 2 is 42, carry 4. 8 times 4 is 32, plus 4 is 36. And I'm going to check again. Let's see, 32 and 4 is 36. Now, multiplication is a short form of addition. When we say 8 times 4, if we wrote down 4 8 times and added them up, we'd get the same 32. Takes much longer, wastes paper, and math is the only subject. If you take a test on computer, with all the other subjects, you just use the mouse and you bubble in the answer. With math, you have to have paper and pencil, preferably a good sharp pencil with a good eraser, because math is different from any other subjects. Even when you take the computer test, you have to work it with pencil and paper. So since multiplication is a short form of addition, at this point you always add. And checking. Okay, that looks good, and we're going to count. 1, 2, 3. We'll start over here and go to the left. 1, 2, 3. Boom. Want to show you a common error lots of students make. They say 1, 2, 3. That's not 1, that's the starting point. 1, 2, 3, boom. You can glance up here and see, yes, there were 3 places right here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And one more, and then we'll go to division. 8 times 2 is 16. Carry 1. 72 and 1, 73. Carry 7. 32 and 7 is 39. Checking now. Looks okay. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 9, 27, carry 2. 3 times 4 is 12, plus 2 is 14. And let's check. 6, 27, carry 2, 12, 14. Looks okay. Let's add them up. 9, 16, carry 1, 8, 1. 1, 2, 3. Start over here, go to the left. 1, 2, 3, boom. If you put all these examples in your notes, you'll have good models for practicing at home, checking with a calculator. Now to the most difficult of the 4 operations, division. And students who say, I can't do division, don't know the times tables. Here's 9 into 27. Well, first, let's move the decimal point. That's a good habit to get into. We move this, and you move it clear over here. You can call it the little house, you can call it the algorithm. You move it. And then you count how many places you moved it. We moved that 1 place. Therefore, we move this one 1 place. And this is called a caret. We're going to put the decimal point straight above that caret. 9 into 27, 3. 3 times 9, 27. The steps for division are these. You should have these in your notes too. You divide, then you multiply, then you subtract, then you bring down just 1 digit. Then you go back and start again. Divide, multiply, subtract, bring down 1, go back and start again. So we have located our decimal point. We have divided, we got 3. We've multiplied, we got 27. Time for the subtraction. Nothing to subtract. I wouldn't put zeros in here, they just confuse you. Next step is bring down 1 digit. Next step is go back and start again. 9 into 1 won't go. So we put a 0 because we tried and couldn't do it. Now we can bring down the other one. 9 into 18 is 2. 2 times 9 is 18. And our answer is 30 and 2/10, 30.2. Division is a short form of subtraction. If we put down 27 and subtracted 9 until we got to 0, we would subtract 3 times. Division makes it shorter and faster. When you check at home with a calculator, this is the one that goes in first. 27.18, division sign 0.9 equals. And you would get that. If you're playing with the numbers at home, if you multiply this one times this one, you'll get this one. Okay? And the more you practice, the better you'll get. Move the decimal point. 7 into 14, 2. 2 times 7, 14. Get nothing when we subtract. Bring down, if you bring down both of these, and you can always see you're going to need them, but if you bring down the 2, 1, you will miss the 0. So you bring down 1 digit, you go back and start again. 7 into 2, that won't go. So we put the 0. And please notice the position of each digit up on top, where the answer is. We took 7 into 14, so we don't put that 2 above the 1, because we didn't take 17 into 1. We took it into the 14, so we put the 2 above the last digit that we took it into, straight above the 4. And here we couldn't take 7 into 2, so we put that 0 straight above the 2. Now we can bring down the 1. 7 into 21, 3. 3 times 7 is 21, and it comes out even. All right? Now these are difficult division problems because it's dividing by a 2-digit divisor, but that's okay. We moved that one 2 places, therefore we move this one 2 places. Decimal point will be at the end now. 12 into 48. Do not practice your math with a pen, because every time you divide like this, it's a trial divisor. You'll often get it wrong. If you get it too big, then you put it down here and you see, obviously, you need to lower it by 1. If you get it too small, if you used a 3 instead of a 4, when you subtract, you'd have 12. And you'd see, oh, I need to raise that by 1. So use a pencil with a good eraser. Your erasers will wear out. You can get the other ones you slip on the top. And those red big erasers are very good, too, if you're going to do a lot of math. And if you do, you'll get good at it. You may have feared math. You may have hated math. And you may have been convinced over the years that you are not capable of learning math. Don't let anybody do that to you. You can learn what you're willing to study. So you always have to keep these together. 12 won't go into 4, of course. 12 into 48, and you take kind of a guess. You estimate. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 1 is 4. Nothing to subtract. Bring down 1. 12 into 3 will not go. Therefore, a 0 right over the 3. Then we can bring this down. 12 into 36. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 1 is 3. 403. You can put the decimal point or not. it's right either way. If you add zeros, it doesn't do any harm. They have no meaning. On to our last problem. We move that. We move that. Decimal point. 13 into 13 is pretty easy. 1 times 13 is 13. Bring down 1 only. 13 into 2 will not go. 0 therefore. Bring down the 6. 13 into 26 is 2. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 1 is 2. So you have a wealth of examples for studying at home, checking with a calculator. And that concludes lesson number 1 of math.